night was unusually quiet, the kind of stillness that settles over the world like a heavy blanket, muffling even the slightest sound. I had drifted off to sleep hours ago, exhausted from a long day of hunting in the woods surrounding my small cabin. But now, something had pulled me from my slumber, a strange sound echoing through the darkness and worming its way into my dreams. At first, I tried to ignore it, chalking it up to the usual noises of the forest, the rustling of leaves, the hooting of owls, the distant howl of a coyote. But this sound was different, unsettling in a way I couldn't quite put my finger on. It was low and guttural, like the growl of a predator stalking its prey, sending a shiver down my spine. With a sense of unease gnawing at my gut, I slipped out of bed and made my way to the window, peering out into the darkness beyond. The moon hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the clearing in front of my cabin. Everything seemed still, peaceful even, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching me, lurking just beyond the edge of my vision. And then, just as I was about to turn away and crawl back into bed, I heard a soft scraping sound coming from the direction of the old wooden fence that surrounded my property. My heart skipped a beat as I strained to listen, my senses on high alert. For a moment, I considered ignoring the sound, chalking it up to nothing more than a trick of the wind or a stray animal wandering through the woods. But the feeling of unease that lingered in the air refused to be ignored, urging me to investigate further. With a sense of trepidation, I grabbed my rifle from its place by the door and slipped out into the night, my footsteps muffled by the thick layer of pine needles that carpeted the forest floor. Every sense was on high alert as I made my way towards the fence, my eyes scanning the darkness for any sign of movement. As I drew closer, the sound grew louder, more insistent, filling me with a sense of dread that seemed to hang in the air like a heavy fog. With my heart pounding in my chest, I cautiously made my way closer, the cold steel of my rifle pressed against my trembling fingers. And then, just as suddenly as it had begun, the sound stopped, leaving me standing in the silence of the night, my senses on edge. For a moment I stood there, listening intently, trying to make sense of what I had just heard. But before I could gather my thoughts, a movement caught my eye, a shadowy figure darting through the trees, its form obscured by the darkness. My breath caught in my throat as I watched the figure disappear into the night, a chill running down my spine at the sight of it. Whatever it was, it didn't belong in the forest. That much was certain. With a sense of urgency burning in my veins, I set off in pursuit, determined to uncover the truth behind the strange sound and the even stranger creature that had caused it. As I ran through the forest, the adrenaline coursing through my veins, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, that every shadow held hidden eyes watching my every move. But despite the fear that threatened to consume me, I pressed on, driven by a need to uncover the truth. After what felt like hours of relentless pursuit, I finally caught sight of the creature once more, its form illuminated by the soft glow of the moon. It was unlike anything I had ever seen before, a strange, otherworldly being with glowing eyes and a hauntingly familiar shape. For a moment I was frozen in place, unable to tear my eyes away from the creature's gaze. Fear gripped me like a vice, paralyzing me with its intensity. But then, with a sudden burst of movement, the creature turned and fled, disappearing into the darkness once more. With a surge of adrenaline, I gave chase, my footsteps echoing through the forest as I raced after the elusive creature. But try as I might, I couldn't keep pace with it, couldn't close the gap between us. And then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the creature vanished into the night, leaving me standing alone in the darkness, my heart pounding in my chest. As I stood there, trying to catch my breath and make sense of what I had just witnessed, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had stumbled upon something beyond my understanding, something ancient and powerful, lurking in the depths of the forest. As I made my way back to my cabin, the weight of what I had seen settling heavy on my shoulders, I couldn't help but wonder what other mysteries lay hidden in the shadows of the forest, waiting to be discovered. And though part of me longed to forget the whole ordeal and go back to living my life as if nothing had happened, I knew that I could never truly put it behind me. For better or for worse, the memory of that night would stay with me forever, a constant reminder of the thin veil that separates our world from the darkness that lies beyond. And though I may never fully understand what I saw that night, one thing is certain: it changed me in ways I could never have imagined. From that day on, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease that lingered in the air, the sense that the forest held secrets far darker than I could ever imagine. But despite the fear that threatened to consume me, I knew that I had to keep searching, keep pushing forward, if I ever hoped to uncover the truth behind the strange creature that had crossed my path that fateful night. The darkness held secrets that I could never hope to comprehend, and though I may never fully understand what I saw that night, one thing is certain: it was an experience that would stay with me for the rest of my days.